Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Armourer. My name is Victor, and today again I'm joined by Blue. What we're planning on doing is scoring each and every spoiler that we have so far for Dusk Till Dawn, and we'll rate it.
So then we get to Light Warrior. So finally, Bolton support, and we have quite a few cards to talk about. So starting with Beaming Blade. In my opinion, a 1-star card. This just seems strictly worse than Raiden. Like, it does more damage, but it costs resources, and then it also has the if a yellow card has been put into your hero soul.
There's the yellow requirement.
Yeah.
That's something we talked about. And the thing is, if you cannot play your red take flights, and I mean it's if Bolton will be yellow, the extensive or exclusive, even the way the Aura Prism was.
Yeah, it
this
probably won't be
useful.
exclusive. But then again, you'd rather play Raiden, right? Because it's like a 0 cost.
Yeah, exactly. 2 cost in a yellow heavy deck, again, that's an entire card for you to pitch just to attack with the sword.
Yes. So that's why I'm going to give Beaming Blade a 1, because I think this is just for commoner, because there they allowed the use of rare weapons. So this is going to be something cool for the commoner Boltons, I guess. Next is Soulbound Resolve, a new Light Warrior legendary equipment. This says, when this defense, you may charge your hero soul. The first time you would be dealt damage each turn. Yeah, each turn. If you've charged this turn, prevent one of that damage, and it has temper.
Yeah, to be honest, I like this, especially for, obviously it was designed for Bolton. It really fits Bolton's playstyle. I'd say the armor is good.
If I have to be honest, I'll probably give it a 3. Like, I feel like it's playable. The prevent 1 damage each turn if you've charged this turn can be cool against wizards, right? Because like they will be dealing damage during your turn, and it's going to have some utility there. Charging cards.
But not only, even when it comes to physical, worst comes to worst, this blocks for 2, and while it defends, you charge, you prevent another one, so it's okay. It still has temper, so there's another block waiting there.
Yeah, it definitely helps you to be more tankier. The thing is that it competes with very, very good equipment, right? If you're playing combo Bolton, you most definitely have to be playing the Courage armor piece, because
I was going to say Courage of Blade combo. Yeah, it saves you a lot of resources when it comes to the new sword, because if you can attack somehow twice with the new sword, obviously give it a go again, because there are cards for warrior that give go again and attack additional time to a weapon or a sword.
But you'd probably still be playing
4 resources.
You'd probably still be playing the 2 Kasai swords. But yeah, the thing is that
sabers,
so you'll be playing, like, if you play the Satari Saber combo, you cannot play this. And if you're playing Raiden, you can definitely play this, and there's a bunch of Raiden support in this set. The thing is, like, is it going to be more efficient than playing Tunic again? And I do not have the answer to that. But even if Tunic still has its uses, like, this is going to be at the very least the same as Fi using
Furnace.
Fi using Furnace, right? It's a fridge you can just simply slot into your deck. And with that, I kind of convinced myself to give this piece a 4.
Yeah, now I was definitely going to say I would score it with 4.
Yeah, like, you still have like pretty much the same option in Courage, but this is more defensive, right? Like, you can extract more value off of this than Courage if you're playing Raiden, obviously. Then we have the Majestics. So these should be Bolton's power cards. We have Beckoning Light. a red for 0 that is 3 damage, 3 block. As an additional cost to play this, you may charge your hero's soul, so like the traditional Bolton attack. If a yellow card was charged this way, whenever an attack action card hits this combat chain, you may put an attack action card from your graveyard on top of your deck.
Again, great. As we said, recursion cards, always great. The only thing that I would love about this card that's not there is to be like a 4, not a 3, just to get that awkward block and like breakpoint moment.
You're technically getting this off of Bolton, right? Like Bolton's ability makes this.
Technically, it's going to, if you've charged, obviously. It's gonna get heavier, but 4 would have been nice. Anyway, the card's really nice. I'd rate it with 5. This is a must-have card in Bolton.
If I have to be honest, I'll rate it with 3, because like recursion is very good, but I don't think you need recursion into every matchup. And then it's like you need to make a long combat chain, which will require like a setup overview, because like your opponent can just say, okay, I let this one hit, and you just return 1 card, and at that point it may still be good, but you've spent like 2 cards to like deal 3 and you recur something. Like this is definitely going to depend on what things you have to recur.
Hear me out. You just played via the Vanguard. You attack with this one. Your opponent says, okay, go ahead. You get another via the Vanguard on top of your deck. This is big.
Yeah, I guess it can be. But then again, like with we'll see this with a lot of the other Bolton cards, which is they require a yellow, and this itself is not a yellow. So I myself am not convinced that this is a must. It's definitely a strong option. I'm just not convinced.
Okay, we'll let all the listeners and viewers decide. By the way, write in the comment section, tell us what you think about the cards, tell us what you agree with, tell us what you disagree with, tell us your opinion.
Then we have Spirit of War, basically the same stats as the previous one, 0 red, 3 for 3, as an additional cost, charge a card. If it's a yellow, whenever an attack action card hits this combat chain, create a courage token. In my opinion, this is a must. I will rate this as 5. Reason being that the more you hit, the more you're going to be able to extend your combat chain, because obviously Bolton needs his cards to have power greater than their base in order to give them
go again. Of course,
and Spirit of War is going to allow you to do that with the courage token, right? Because like every card that hits is going to create a courage token, which is going to bump the power of your next card, which means that you'll be able to give it go again. And this seems like a spreading flames type of card.
Mm-hmm. It is a really nice card. I'd score it with 5 as well. This is a must in the deck.
Yeah, it's in a way akin to V of the Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
Now the only problem I have with this is, once again, we're into like yellow cards, but I guess it's good to have like some deck building restrictions. But this card itself does not gain increased attack. So we need to have something to increase this card's attack, or do we need to have created a courage token the previous turn or something like this?
If we don't want the opponent just to say, okay, I'll just let this hit.
Yeah, but even if we're in that situation, we're probably still playing Snapdragon Scalers to kind of solve that issue if it's there. So yeah, it's just very powerful card.
Mm-hmm.
Then we are at Prayer of Bellona, which in my opinion is possibly an even more powerful card. A yellow...
And it's yellow, of course, yeah. So your next attack this turn gets +2.
Yes.
Reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a yellow, put it into your hand. Then charge your hero's soul. Go again. It has go again. It is yellow. It only costs 1. It's a really nice card.
Yeah, like the nice thing about this card is that basically it in a way pays for itself, right? Because it's essentially draw a card if it's a yellow, and it should be a yellow. Like the majority of your deck should be yellow.
Supposedly, yes.
Yeah, like it can still miss, but if it does not miss, it's just very good because it basically reads 1 mana +2 on your next attack, which means that Bolton is going to be able to give it go again, and then Prayer of Verona itself also charges, right? So you like if you play Prayer of Verona into Spoils of War, you're going to be able to give it go again.
Spirit of War, Spoils of War is a different card.
Yeah. Like one thing I'm noticing here is like that this is going to work way better with Bolton's previous cards, the ones that draw him cards or like golden to the soul if they hit, because like the problem with like Spirit of War and Beckoning Light is that I believe the way they work is that they themselves need to charge a yellow card. So if you go Spirit of War, charge a yellow card, and then play Beckoning Light will not trigger, I believe. Because it says if a yellow card was charged this way, so it has to be off
this
of its
way,
fate.
not this turn. Yeah, so you need to charge another yellow card in order.
So it's the same with like Prayer of Bellona, but like Prayer of Bellona is definitely going to like trigger your old cards, and I think the old cards are like still very very strong, right? Because they are. If it hits, it goes to the soul, and if it hits, it draws your card. And like drawing a card when you can actually extend your combat chain is very good. And going into the soul is also very good because you need your soul in order to be able to extend your combat chains. So like all three of these are very good. If I have to rate Prayer of Bellona, I will rate it as 4.
Spirit of War is 5, and the Beckoning of Light at 3, as you said.
Yeah, and you rate it at 5. So
I think all of them are 5s. All of these 3 cards are 5s. If you're going to play the yellow plan with Bolton, you need to have these cards in your deck.
Yeah, like I think like these two you definitely have. It's just like Prayer of Bellona I don't think is as powerful actually. Because it has like anti-synergy with like Spirit of War itself, and then it can miss, right? It's very powerful, but it can miss. So next we have Beaming Bravado. Basically the same stats, a 0, 3 and 3 red 1. As an additional cost, you may charge a card. If it's a yellow, this gets +1.
So it is like the condition in itself. So if you charge a yellow card, you can straight give it go again if you have cards in soul.
Yes, you can just banish the yellow card that you charge to just give it go again, right? And it's in that way it's a baseline 0 for 4. I very much like this card. The one reason I'm not like too excited about it, like it's definitely strong, it's probably going to see play. But the thing is, I feel like in Bolton, you need a bunch of cards in your soul in order to make these longer chains where your attacks are like difficult to block. And this card will kind of allow you to start these turns. But then again, like you still need to preserve your soul in a way. I don't know. I think I'll give it 4.
Yeah, 4 is fair. Again, you got the yellow version and the blue version. Obviously, very few blue cards will be played in Bolton, if any at all.
Yeah, like to be honest, if I'm using Beaming Bravado only to kind of like start my chain of like attacks, maybe the yellow version is going to be like good enough. Because like if you're playing like primarily yellow cards, then playing yellow Beaming Bravado is just going to go up to 3, and then off of Bolton is going to be up to 4, which may be enough. And you'd probably
and if not, you can still give it go again, so yes. It's okay.
Yeah, so I'll probably rate this one higher.
The yellow one's better than the red one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to go hard into yellow cards. Then we have V for Valor, which is a 0 light aura action that blocks for 2, unfortunately, and then it does not have go again. So you basically have to spend your turn or like your action point basically to just set this card up. And then as an attack reaction, you can spend 1 resource to destroy it, charge your hero soul, and target attack gets +3.
So, I'm not huge into auras, especially red ones in Bolton. I don't think.
I mean, like even if you run like the yellow one, like it can still help you with like the yellow color management. It still gives you like plus that you simply need like +1 at least in order to give your things go again. But it costs a
resource. But it costs a resource, and Bolton doesn't like paying resources.
The bigger problem I have with this card is not that it costs a resource, but that it also charges your soul, right? And it's not a you have to do this. And the thing with that is, like the utility for this card, the best thing you can do with it so far that I've thought of is you can attack with the card that is like 0 for 3 if it hits, draw a card if you've charged this turn, and then at a reaction speed you can use V for Valor to give it plus charge, so it now hits. That's quite fair.
As an aura, it stays on the board and waits for a turn. That there's no way for you to charge, so it helps you with the charge. But still, this will slow your game a bit. And as far as I'm concerned, Bolton is more of an aggro player, so.
Yeah, I mean, you can technically put this at the end of a chain, but then again, like the upside for this is like not that great, right? Because you still need to charge, and then you need to pay for this, so it's still like a 3-card turn to just do that, to just do this, and like if you're going to hold 3 cards, then your opponent will like surely know something's up when you just attack with like a 0 for 3. I'm not going to charge, right? So it's like incredibly telegraphed in that way as well. So. Overall, I'm going to rate this as 1, actually. Like
1 for the red, 1 for the blue, and probably 2 for the yellow?
Sure. Like, I'll be very generous and give it 2 for the yellow.
Yeah.
Then we have Glaring Impact. A 1 for 4 this time. 3 block. As an additional cost to play this, you may charge your hero, so if it's a yellow card, this gets overpowered. And overpower is this can't be defended by more than 1 action card, so it's like the bad dominate, and
it's dominate for poor.
I will rate this card at 2. Absolutely every version of it, right? I feel like in this deck, if we're going to be playing mainly yellows, and like all of our stuff so far has costed like 0, and like almost everything the old Bolton has like cost 0. And if I'm going to be spending resources, I want to be on something like very, very important and or impactful. And overpower on a 4-power card is not that. It's not that at all.
I'd say that the blue one is unplayable, literally.
Yeah, I'd say like all of them are, right? Like. I don't think they do anything, unfortunately. Light the Way is an interesting card.
As an additional cost to play this, you may charge your hero soul. Cost 0, it's a red card, attacks for 3, defends for 3. When this hits, if a yellow card was charged this turn, this gets go again.
Yes. So, I feel like Light the Way and Beaming Bravado may be kind of contesting for like the same spot, unless you play both of them. Like the upside for this is that it gains guaranteed go again if you wish, because it gains +1. The upside for this is that it gains go again by itself, so you do not have to exhaust your soul for that. The downside is obviously your opponent can just say, I block with a 3-block non-attack.
Yeah.
No, they can't say I take 3, right? Because if it hits, it gains go again.
But even even if so, there's no devastating effect in this one. Even if it gets go again, it just comes for 3. You just let it hit.
But
Just
like
3 damage.
that will allow the Bolton to then at the very least swing a Raiden, right? So which is just good value, right? Like
is this the weapon you think the new Bolton will be playing Raiden? It won't be Centaurus.
Like if you're playing combo, you'll be playing Centaurus. If you're playing some sort of a mid range where you want to actually be playing attacks and so on, you kind of have to play Raiden, like some sort of a mid range to aggro deck.
So what happened with all the axes? I mean, they released a lot of warrior axes lately.
Yeah, there's one that we'll see later, but the problem is that,
and there's one in Dynasty as well,
yes.
And there are
like
there
the
are
problem
axes
with
prior to that.
Yeah, the problem with them is that the new ones are all 2-handers that cost 3 to attack with, and like the old axes are like basically Bolton's axes, which are just worse than the Centaurus for the combo, and we just do not have great axe support, right? Like we have tons of cards that help swords. We had a bunch of like axe support cards in Dynasty, but obviously not enough. Anyway, Light the Way I'll rate as 4 probably. I just like it. Like even if its floor is like I attack with this and my opponent has to block with a non-attack action in order to stop my turn, I'm fine. If I just keep this in a card and I attack with Light the Way and my opponent says, okay, I take 3, and I say, okay, I attack with Raiden, it's just good value. You know, it's 2 cards for 6, which is fine.
I don't know if I'd go as high as 4, but I might agree. It's like on the lower level of 4. I'd say 3.
Yeah, 3 is probably good, right? Because unfortunately, in order to achieve what I'm talking about, you have to play the red version, which is not a yellow card, right? Because if you play,
and we want yellows, and the yellow is 2, and
yeah, if you have yellows, even if you charge it, your opponent can just block with any 3 block, and it will block it. So 3 is probably correct, if I have to be honest. Next we have Resounding Courage.
Target light warrior attack gets +3, costing 1. It's a red card, defending for 3. If you've charged this, then create a courage token.
So this one I think is powerful.
Especially in Bolton.
Yeah, I mean it is for Bolton currently only. Like it's a light.
The only light warrior.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even the yellow version is like obviously the yellow version is probably what we're going to be running if we need to be running yellows.
Yes, because the yellow cards usually swing for 2, and you give him +2, so you get to that 4 point where you can give him go again. You get a courage, so the attack value of the next action cards already increased, so you can get go again through Bolton.
Yeah, so I think this is very powerful. The only downside is obviously it costs 1, but this is one of the impactful cards that I was talking about, right? This can allow you to extend your turn even more. The thing is, will you really be wanting to extend your turn so much? Like especially when you have to pay for this, because this costing 1, and if you're not running Tunic, means that you need a card to pitch in order to play Resounding Courage, excuse me. Then you need Resounding Courage. Then you need an attack that's attacking, that also charged. So we are at like 4 cards right now, and
that's a lot of cards. That's a lot of cards you need, but still, I think it is the better attack reaction if you're running Courage.
Yeah.
No, not Courage, but Tunic. Sorry.
Yeah, like if you're running Tunic, it becomes like 1 card less, but then only if you have the resource. It's not bad, Especially because like the courage token, you don't need to use it immediately, right? So this can just transition into an attack reaction that just sets up your next turn, essentially. But then again, the one resource kind of...
It is a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Well, it's only common.
Yeah. Like right now, to me, it's a deal breaker. Like I'd want my cards to be able to, in a way, gain go again by themselves, because a lot of them, like all of them, are very demanding, right? You cannot simply attack with one card. You have to attack with a card that then charges, and then you have Raiden, and then you can have like a third attack, and this is like a 3-card turn. And like Resounding Courage just makes this into a 5-card turn that you basically did like 2 damage for like 2 additional cards, which is not good.
Not that great. So are we rating it 3 or 4 stars?
I will rate it with 2 if I have to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there like a better reaction in this entire deck?
I mean, you have a +2 yellow that says if you've charged this turn, just +2 on something, and it costs 0 from Monarch. So, like, if you're really wanting that. But I feel like when we're looking at cards like Beaming Bravado and, like, maybe, like, Light the Way, as well as we'll see later, I believe we may have, like, other things that generate Courage tokens. We may not be... in a situation where we need to have an attack reaction in order to proceed with our turn. So I'm rating this at 2. Just generally all the cards.
Okay.
Like if I have to rate something at 3, it's going to be the yellow one. Simply because of
the yellow one was the one we're looking at. I'd say it's 3.
Yeah. Then we have...
So from this point onwards, there are not that many cards left. But whenever we talk about bolting cards, we're obviously rating the yellow one.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of light cards left. We have Charge of the Light Brigade. I'm just going to look at the yellow one. Your next attack you charge this turn gets +2, go again. So this in my opinion is just straight up better than Resounding Courage, right? In terms of like allowing your next attack to gain the go again, because it just straight up gives you the buff. With Resounding Courage, you get the Courage token for like 1 resource, but like...
But this thing is an action, it's not a reaction, so it's... The information is there, it's on the board.
But I don't think that's like you get that much value off of the reaction, like, because once again, if you're keeping 4 cards to play, right, like because even if you have the tunic counter, you need a card to attack with, a card to charge, then the Resounding Courage. Yeah, like a card, like even if you have tunic, you're basically keeping 3 cards in order to do the Resounding Courage play, and all you get of it is like a Courage token for next turn, which is like not that bad. But if you're keeping 3 cards, your opponent pretty much knows that you're probably not going to just attack for 2 pass, right?
Kind of cabbage.
Yeah, but like Charge of the Light Brigade, I don't know, maybe. I'm just going to give it the same rating.
Again, 3 for the yellow one.
Yeah,
or
3 for the yellow one. Yeah, 3 for the yellow one, 2 for all the rest. I'm not sure how the deck is going to like shape up to be, but like this has more immediate value simply because it costs 0 and it's like much easier to play. This kind of sets you up for your next turn, which I don't think has that much value. Then we have the Radiant armor set being View, Raymond, Touch, Flow.
One of the best arts in this set that I've seen so far.
Yeah, it's definitely gorgeous, and I hope the cold foils are not extremely expensive.
I would love to have this all in cold foil.
Yeah. All of them share the same effect, which is at instant speed you can banish this card and a card from your soul to prevent 2 of the next damage that would be dealt to your hero this turn. This is, I'd say, very, very good. I don't think it's going to see that much constricted play, but when you compare it to other similar things, like obviously this is for light characters only, it's just good. It can prevent any damage, it's at instant speed, and it's basically for free, right? Other characters that cannot use this have to basically pay 1 in order to block with to block equipment on the like common slot, the generic one, and this does it for free. Like it's not for free; it costs a card from your soul.
You want the cards in your soul to stay there.
Yeah, but like spending a card from your soul to just prevent your damage is not that bad. I can see some of these be run in a very, very specific situation, but that's about it. Right? Like if you're
which
afraid,
one do you think will be played?
Well, at the very least, if you're very afraid of a Kano or something like this, because like against Kano, the most important thing and why a lot of decks are running at minimum with your Arcane Barrier is like preventing the first. I forgot the name of the card. Wildfire. So you basically side. You side to Oasis Respite in that matchup, and you go Picture Blue, use your Arcane Barrier and the Oasis Respite to prevent 6, and basically negate their first Wildfire, which gives you a lot of time in that matchup. So in a similar situation, if you're playing a light hero, you can just play Radiant View or like any of the other Radiant equipment and play the Oasis Respite off of a Tunic or something similar and just prevent 6 that way. Without having
I wouldn't say it's that great of a gear, but the art is nice. It is usable, but I won't trade it with more than 2.
Yeah, like I think 2 is fine. Like we've seen a bunch of characters, bunch of heroes use the generic common equipments that are like pay 1 to block. So if you have nothing better to do in Prism or Bottom, these are just fine. These are just good.
Switch Iron Hide with Radiant View.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Then we have
United We Stand.
Yeah, it's the PV card, right? It has like
I don't like PV. I don't like what's the name? Ultimate Pit, whatever that looks like. Commander. That they're both not formats that I enjoy. So whoever enjoys this, go ahead.
PV has not yet been released, but this card is obviously for there. It's like lore wise and just as a card, I love it a lot.
Last thing I heard about PV is that its release date got postponed again, and it will be available towards the end of 2024.
Sure. Like I'll be okay with them postponing it again.
I'm still stocking Silver Palms, but now I've seen the Rudy video, and he was showing something like Diamond Hens, another merchant arm piece. So I don't know if I should still continue to stack with the Silver Palms. But still, that's entirely based on what card's gonna go up next. It has nothing to do with what I intend to play.
Yeah. As a whole, I'd rate this as a 1. This is not intended for any sort of like competitive play. At all.
Okay, 1 it is.
Yeah, then we have Lumina Lands, which in my opinion is just an incredible card. That this is the light attack reaction that you're running in Bottom. Like you asked me, are there better attack reactions? This is the one.
Well, yeah, but that's on a majestic slot. It's not on a common slot. Still, it's very nice, and the art really reminds me of Celestial Cataclysm. I guess it's the same guy in it. That's
I believe it's
that
the
should
same
be Soul.
guy.
That has to be Soul.
Maybe. I guess we'll see, like when the lore articles drops. But it's a 0/3 yellow card, very important. As an additional cost, you may banish up to 3 cards from your hero. So you're really banishing 2 cards with Bottom, because like the last effect is when these hits go again, and instead you can just give it go again even if it doesn't hit with Bottom. So Yeah, but like the other two effects are gets +2, which triggers your Bolton ability to give it go again, and if it hits, draw a card, which is...
The draw card is the insane one, yeah.
Yeah, like both draw card and +2 are just very, very strong. You obviously have to keep in mind that you want to play around this card and kind of conserve your hero soul, and obviously you will want to be playing the Celestial Cataclysms, which are also very demanding. Which is why I think that... Which is why when we commented about Light the Way, I was like, it's good that this preserves your hero soul in a way. But like how valued that would be, it's like hard to tell right now. But like this card is definitely a 5. Like this is definitely...
It's a yellow one, it defends for 3, it charges.
Yeah, it does absolutely everything.
A whole lot of shenanigans, so yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Radiant Force Field, which is a light instant aura for 0. Bolt
Each
Prism.
hero will be dealt damage. Banish a card from your hero soul to prevent 1 of that damage. When there are no cards in your hero soul, destroy this.
Yeah, I will rate this with 3. My reasoning is like it can technically prevent like a lot of damage. Like in a situation where you are post Lumina combo, be it in the Raiden deck or the Centauri deck, this alone can just prevent 10 damage or something like this, which is very good. The problem is that you're putting a 0 block that only has synergies with your deck when you're at the point where you should be winning anyway.
If you have a lot of cards in soul.
In Prism, we tried playing it because you can technically
save an angel from a Kodachi.
Yes, so you can basically save your angels from Kodachis, but that's not enough, and it's going to cost a lot of your soul. And keeping your soul is very tough in Prism because flipping your angels costs soul, activating your angels costs soul, and you just can't gather that much soul, right? If you're playing against a ninja and they allow all of your heralds to hit,
they usually will, because ninjas are not famous for their blocks, so it might work there. So sideboard it against ninja, but the rest, I don't know.
In my opinion, that's what I was trying to say, is that it doesn't work against ninja in that way, right? Because if they allow all of your heralds to hit, then they die on your 5th herald, right? And
depending on what combo they come up with on turn 2, so you had to defend there, but
but I mean, like they can only take 5 heralds, right? Like the majority of your heralds are coming like for like 7 or 8 or something like this. So realistically,
I'm gonna score this one with 2.
I'm going to give it 3, simply because it's not that bad. Not that bad. It may have like that utility that I talked about with Bolton, but it's still very bad. Yeah, I'm scoring this with 2 as well. Like it's not incredibly unplayably bad the same way United Withstand is, but it does not inspire confidence. Let's say
Let's just go with 2, Let's just go with 2 and go to Lay to Rest.
Lay to Rest, yes.
Light action, costs 1, defense for 3, attacks for 4. When this attacks Shadow Hero, it gets +1. When this hits a hero, you may turn a card in their banish zone face down. So that's an obvious sideboard against Shadow Heroes.
Yes, and it is an insane sideboard against Shadow Heroes, in my opinion. One thing I have to say about the set, from what I've seen, is that the anti-shadow light cards and the anti-light shadow cards this time around seem a lot more playable than before, which I'm not sure is a good thing if I have to be honest, but you may just not have enough sideboard space. But then again, maybe this format is just going to be light heroes versus shadow heroes, who knows?
I don't think Lexi will be out of the meta anytime soon. So obviously there would it has to be sideboard. You cannot play this main board. Obviously, when you come to mirror matches or when you play against light heroes again, you don't need this. So
yeah, but I mean, then again, it's like a 1/4 that blocks 3, so it's incredibly on rate, right? It's just on rate, and it's a light attack action. Like if you're playing bottom and you're against a shadow hero, you're definitely playing this card, right? Because it's a yellow. It's a yellow that's like 1/5 that blocks 3. It's incredible in that space. So I'm just going to give this a 4.
Yeah, I think 4 is reasonable. Although, yeah, let's go with 4.
Yeah, like, yeah, it seems very good.
It is good. It is good. It is good, but it is occasional, though, depending on what you play against. Because if you play against like an assassin or a ninja, and then I'm thinking Katsu's gonna make a really nice progress in the meta.
Maybe, but even then, it's a yellow 1/4 3 block, right? So like its floor is not bad, just straight up not bad.
Okay. I agreed on that one. Moving to Blessing of Salvation. That's a red light action that defends for 2, and if a card's been put into your hero's soul, this turn you may play this as though it were an instant and gain 3 life.
There's other like life gain cards in this set, and I think all of them are bad as a whole. Like I do not think life gain is particularly strong of a strategy or like effect in this game outside of like maybe Sigil of Solace, which is just...
We're going to say this is strictly worth Sigil of Solace.
Yeah, it is. It is strictly worth Sigil of Solace. Like technically it has the utility of being able to block if you needed to. If this was blocking 3,
condition,
yeah.
But it has a condition for you in order to gain health, and with the Sigil you just gain 3 and that's it.
Yeah, like the worst part actually is that it costs 1. Where like the majority of healing cards we've seen right now cost 0. And I like Prism is already at 32 health, so I don't think you will actually be able to play some sort of like a very defensive strategy. So nor would you be able to play that with Bolton. Like
I'm
actually
giving this
with, like,
a 1.
Yeah, it's a 1. Like no matter how you look at it, it's a 1.
Right. Moving onwards to Cleansing Light. That's a light action, yellow 1. It costs 3 defense for 2. If a card has been put into your hero's soul this turn, you may play this as though it were an instant. Destroy target yellow aura.
So this is most definitely 1, but then again, it may be a very good sideboard
in the Prism Mirror match.
Yeah, but like the Living Legend Prism Mirror match.
Yeah.
Unless they actually play the yellow auras, which I'm not sure about yet. But like even then, it costs 3. Which is not that big of a downside if we're really playing like upwards of like 20 blue cards in our deck for Prism. But I'll play this I'll put this at 2 stars.
This actually yellow, no. I was thinking Dromai, but Dromai plays blue auras. The one, yeah. So it's not useful even there.
Yeah.
No. I'd rate this at 1. Given the cards that we've seen so far.
Yeah, like, yeah, definitely.
Right. Moving over to Blistering Assault. That's a yellow light action attack, costing 2, defending for 2, attacks for 4. If you have a yellow card in your pitch zone, this gets go again. This is... that would have been great if it wasn't costing 2.
I mean, it makes sense to cost 2, right? Because it's a yellow, and a yellow card attacking for 4 usually costs 1. This time it costs 2. and it requires that you have like a yellow card in your pitch zone, so you just pitch a yellow for this and it has go again, so it makes sense. The thing is, I don't think any of the yellow heroes right now want this card. So I'm going to be putting it at 1. But then again, this is like one of the cards that I think may be like very good to actually experiment with in a cube draft format with like these cards, like the old.
Yeah, or a chaos draft, because we cannot draft the set. Is there like a rainbow version of this card, or is it just a yellow one?
I mean, right now it's just yellow. Maybe there's a rainbow version of this, but we don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
Then we have Defender of Daybreak.
Yeah, it's a light action attack, again costing 0. It's yellow, attacks for 3, defense for 2. When this defends a shadow attack, non-equipment light cards get +1 defense this combat chain.
Yeah, so basically this is kind of like the defense effect of Art of War for this turn against shadow heroes.
This card is garbage.
Yes, it may have had utility against Chain because his turns seem to be, not seem to be, they are wide. The problem is that it blocks for 2 and it's only usable there, and the current shadow heroes, being the new Runeblade and Levia, seem to be a lot more of a tow deck that is looking to just attack once or twice a turn. So definitely a 1 for me.
Yeah.
Then we have Searing Ray, 1 for 3, blocking 2. If you have a yellow card in your pitch zone, this has +2. So in bottom, this kind of contests Blistering Assault.
I was going to say it's slightly better.
I mean, it's slightly better, but then again, it consumes your soul. And
not
like
that much.
you kind of want to preserve your soul anyway. So I'm just going to rate this at 1 as well. Like all 3 of these cards just seem like draft shaft cards.
Considering we're not drafting the set.
Yeah, but I think it's cool that they're expanding like these teams, because people are definitely having trouble building good cube drafts, and I think cube drafts is just very, very cool.
And again, they might have some sort of a usage in I don't know, PvE or Commoner.
Yeah. Actually, Commoner definitely is a set that's going to benefit off of these. Break of Dawn, 0 light instant. The next time a shadow source will deal damage this turn, prevent 3 of that damage. If we have a red version of this, it's somewhat playable.
4. It prevents 4, you mean?
Yeah, it prevents 4 and it's at instant speed. But then again, like, why would you play this instead of simply using Sink Below or like Fate Foreseen, right?
I was going to say, are you trying to play Turtle Bolton or Turtle Prism at 36 life?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I mean, you can still play a few defensive cards, but then, like, Prism had that insane card, right? That just goes with, like, any Herald against any deck. And this one is just only against Shadow. And it's not like we have a ton of Shadow cards that do some unpreventable damage in some way, like Arcane or like something else. Like, a lot of it is just blockable. So, Break of Dawn, I'm just going to put it 1, same as everything else. And that's it with the light cards.